Hello there everyone, Alteria Tempest here with some more Battletech reactions, and today we are finally here. I have been hearing about this particular video in the Tech Talks series for a very long time, and I am super excited to finally be watching it today. We are going to be reacting to Tech Talks Battletech, the Battle of Tukayyid. I am super bad at pronouncing names, so I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce it, but this is where I hear the videos take a serious uptick in quality, and it's about where the inner sphere, I think, beats the clans. I'm not exactly sure about this. I'm going into this pretty blind on like the actual battles going in. I know a little bit about the mechs because that's what we've been learning about so far, and I also know a little bit about like the histories behind the houses and the clans a little bit because of from what I've dipped my toes into around the fandom. I've dipped my toes into a little bit of the fan fiction and a little bit of the actual series with the Warriors trilogy that I'm reading currently. So I am super excited to see where this takes me. Battletech has been a blast so far, and if you want to join me on this journey, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. And also, I am currently doing a little bit of a celebration for around 250-300 subscribers. I already know I'm gaining. You guys are doing an amazing job subscribing, and I'm super thankful for that. But if you would like for me to answer any questions in an upcoming Q&A video that I'm kind of planning on doing as like a little celebration, then drop them in the comment section below. But now we are going to be continuing on in our journey. Finally, and I would be using the actual video title name more, but I'm super bad at pronouncing it, so we'll see how Tex pronounces it, and then I can take it from there.
Hey there folks, Tex the Black Pants Legion here. Yes, we are working on the next Tex Talks Battletech.
I am ready to learn at the hands of the institution.
In between episode. This episode is something that had to be said, and had to be said today of all days.
Oh, we're gonna be remembering it.
Why are smiling? Those of you who don't, well, buckle up. Here comes an education.
I am buckled up and ready to be educated. So we're learning about Comstar's great gamble.
Today is not a talk about a machine. Today is a celebration.
Hey, no, the urban mech.
20th. Today we remember the Battle of Tukayyid.
Tukayyid, okay, I can pronounce that.
Ended a battle, and in essence, a war. In a single contest of will, manpower, supplies, and crazy, the clan invasion was stopped dead on a formerly sleepy agricultural world.
Let's go.
A world that was chosen as a proxy battle site in a desperate attempt to trick the clans into stopping their war machine in its tracks by taking advantage of their stupid ways.
Yep, we gotta take advantage of that honor.
The stakes were as high as they could be.
Dang, look at all those, the clan corridors.
The clans were making great conquests of the inner sphere, nearly annihilating Rosselhog and threatening the capital of the Draconis Combine. A threat so serious the DCMS lightened their death to all mercenary stance just a tad.
Hey, that's Tech's got to be happy about that at least.
That if this war continued, the inner sphere would be a dominion of the clans within a few short years.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy there, huh?
Were struggling to defend themselves. This for them was a different kind of war.
Is it the Federated Commonwealth at the moment? I think
time and again,
maybe
in the face of clan
based on the map,
superior training, and people bred for conflict, just like this. When it became apparent that Terra was the primary invasion objective, Comstar stepped out of the shadows and decided to act.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, we'll finally do this now, huh?
Sit and facilitate.
Oh no, they're centrists. Oh no,
and show the clanners.
Of course, Space AT&T would be centrists.
Comstar, being the shifty fucks they are, decided to abuse the system. This is called asymmetrical strategic planning. In layman's terms,
something the clans were not the greatest at.
So Comstar, being Comstar and having studied their opponents in detail, they decided to bring the clans to a single point and annihilate them. In 3052, Comstar issued a batch-all. Batch-all in clanner speak is a direct challenge. A contest of wills to be won, and this was a challenge that the clans could not, without significant loss of honor, pass up. Comstar openly challenged the invading clans to the following: fight on a chosen world.
So, one thing I do want to know is how involved Comstar was in the invasion of the clans, because I feel like in kind of like the other material, the fanfic material that I'm reading at the moment, over on Space Battles, actually, I would totally recommend it. A Young Woman's Defense of the Inner Sphere. And actually, there's a whole nother one where Tanya's now in like the Combine. and I'm super excited about that. No, wait, it was the Compelling Confederation, not the Combine. So Tanya's in the Compelling Confederation and kind of trying to maneuver from within and kind of fix that the interesting way they decide to do things. But in that writing and in the young woman's defense of the inner sphere, they seem fairly involved. It might have been just like one or two presenters, I think that's what they're called, kind of like the heads of Comstar. But it might have just been one or two of those. But they do seem fairly involved with like governing the worlds that the clans are leaving behind, and also kind of helping them with like backdoor information on the inner sphere. So I was kind of wondering if they were how involved they were specifically in information sharing and in governance of those worlds that they leave behind. Because I'm guessing they made a deal, but I don't know how involved that deal was specifically.
In this case, Tukayyid. The clans would be invited to bring their very best. Comstar would bring theirs. Each clan would have 2 cities as objectives. If the clans could conquer and hold them, they would win. Comstar would act as the defenders and would try to contest the objectives with all they had. If the clans won, Comstar would make no challenge to the clan conquest. If the clans were to lose, however, they would have to obey a 15-year truce on their honor to halt all further invasion from a delineation line set at Tukayyid.
Wow. Wow, that's actually a crazy difference. What? That's a crazy bargain there that they did. Ooh, 15 years, like just peace. Can't go past this line. That is crazy.
How could they refuse a direct challenge from a jumped-up telecom company
right?
to be the inheritors of Star League? The nerve on those bastards.
Oh yeah, they were both kind of the inheritors of Star League, right? Because Kerensky went out into the periphery to become the clans and to form that little pocket of the remains of the SLDF, and then Comstar was kind of in there with their whole almost like pseudo-religious version of the SLDF. So they were both they were both trying to become the Star League. I mean, everybody's trying to become the Star League, I think, right? Everybody's trying to reunite the Star League, all the great houses. That's their goals too. So
underestimating Comstar,
I guess everybody could technically be called successors of trying to rebuild the.
Immediately, clanners began to bargain internally for the privilege of drop order, or who gets to hit the planet first and how much shit they intend to bring. This was a contest in itself, bidding forces in order of battle, in order to out-honor the honorable honor for honor's sake. Honor on the side, hold the honor with extra honor.
Definitely.
Some planners even did almost a 3rd grade level of homework on their opposing commander, Comstar's own Anastasia's Vogt.
Okay, I don't. When I think of Comstar, I don't think very much about a like high strength. Like, I guess the comm guards. I'm underestimating the comm guards. I don't know how strong they were before this too.
Leading an army of bureaucrats driving machines they couldn't understand from an era long gone. The clanners thought he was nothing more than a pretender, a joke, a noble in the guise of a soldier. He was to them a non-threat, leading an army of children.
Yeah, I'm guessing they like sent over their history or something, and the history were pretty sparse. Maybe.
All of this extraordinary magnitude, they fielded their best commanders and most elite.
Dang, is that what like one of the warships looked like? Because I was not expecting that. That looks pretty badass.
Corridors. They would take to this field of battle with their khans leading from the front. This was their greatest challenge of the era. This was their finest hour. They realized this would be a glorious battle sung for generations, a tipping point in their history.
Written in the, what is it the book they have? Don't they have like a written history book or something?
This was what clanners had wanted, a triumph of their way of life, their society, their ethos versus the barbarians they intended to conquer. Above all, honor was on the line. It was a challenge to everything they stood for, and defeat seemed impossible.
Of course.
Finally, the Inner Sphere had the grit to actually obey their correct rules of combat and issue a challenge to determine this all in a reasonable manner to a clanner.
Yeah, it would have been pretty good at preserving all the fighters and
as it turns
stopping
out,
waste.
The clan was concerned with honor and protocol. Comstar was concerned with, well,
Winning. Yeah, I figured.
On the defense, Comstar brought everything they had. Protocols of ancient technologies were unsealed, opened, and emptied, and pressed into the hands of untested, but well-trained and semi-green pilots. Some of these pilots took to the field in weapons that had in many cases not been used in 300 years.
Yeah, they're
With
fresh out of the box,
conquest, Comstar emptied every garrison in the Inner Sphere except Terra. Comstar dedicated 12 entire armies to the field of battle.
Dang. Okay, so they kind of just like tossed a whole bunch of stuff in there, huh?
And while the Com Guards were an admittedly untested force of green pilots, they had excellent training and knew the stakes. If they could win just this once, they would stop the invasion. Because
that is what I'm kind of figuring.
Know how to engage in takesies backsies with any level of aptitude.
So yeah, they definitely. I figured in the thing I'm reading right now, they've kind of gotten their nose bloodied a little bit earlier on in the Inner Sphere. So they've kind of started deciding to take the Inner Sphere people a little bit more seriously. But I'm guessing this is the moment where that happens in canon, where they actually get their nose bloodied a little bit, and they actually got taken advantage of huge with that like 15 years of. So yeah, this is a lesson they're definitely going to have to learn here.
Invade anyways if they lost. But if Comstar lost and mangled the clan war machine, they could buy time for reinforcements from the great houses. Either way, Comstar was going into the battle knowing this would be a meat grinder. Even with their equipment being close to battle parity.
Well, yeah, close to battle parity, but they don't have the Omni mechs, right? Too. I mean, they're on the defensive though, so
well documented.
That's pretty good there.
This is the clan drop order for Tukayyid and their objectives.
Okay. Hey,
and the
Jade
battle
Falcons.
that unfolded.
Now I gotta find a last drop. Okay, I gotta find a favorite clan now. And now that I've got my favorite Inner Sphere house, which is House Davian. It's kind of what I'm standing at the moment. Though I am a bit of a Federated Commonwealth hopeful. I think that would have been a cool alliance to see more of. But for the clans, I'm pretty undecided at the moment. So that's something I'm trying to pick out maybe in this video. I don't think it'll probably be in this video, probably later in the series when he gets more into the clans so I can actually learn more about them. Yep, the apocalypse
battle
of
lasted
Tukayyid.
from the 1st of May to the 20th. For 20 days, the fate of the Inner Sphere was held in the balance as a telecom company fought invaders from beyond the sphere.
That's got to be a very long contest there. I don't think they go on for that long normally.
Crazy, duplicitous, deceptive, all-knowing, quasi-religious fanatics, but they had very little practical experience in warfare. In fact, prior to this point, Comstar more or less had to eliminate problems using the old Soviet method.
Yeah. I mean, when you control the flow of information, that's not the most difficult.
Drew on history for the direction for this battle. Comstar opted for defense in depth, also known as an elastic defense, also known as a castle defense, or in the modern era as a hippity-hoppity get-off-my-property.
Defense in depth.
All stops by using
it's reminding me of my cybersecurity training.
Engagements against the invaders. The defense was dependent on hitting the clanners at every opportunity, ambushing them, then retreating, hitting and fading, and pushing them to the breaking point all the while.
Using the ablative armor.
Had the advantage in mobility.
Can you call it like an ablative armor tactic?
Double heat sinks negate a lot of heat, so the Inner Sphere had to push them all that much harder. And as soon as the clanners mustered a counterattack, the Inner Sphere would fade away, leading to the next offensive point, and then engage again.
But you do have two of the hard points in the cities, right? So it's got to be at least a little bit difficult, huh?
Every time they paused to survey a path, they were hit by marauding scout vehicles, mechs, VTOLs, aerospace assets, or even more artillery. Sometimes Comstar would let clanner scout vehicles pass the main body, and then snap to ambush the main column advance, cutting scouts off and surprising the hell out of everyone. Prepared defenses allowed Comstar to achieve a spectacular success in defense in depth. All battle preparations were for rapid redeployment of forces, reconsolidation of damaged units, and hardened defensive points to force clanners to battle. Even the ground was prepared in advance for this bloodbath.
Oh yeah.
Every bridge was
I
rigged
feel
to
like the
blow
clanners gotta have
or set
hated
to
that
sabotage. Concealed bunkers along every attack route provided excellent firing points and served as effective anchors for defense in depth. Entire cities were completely covered into elaborate kill zones. Every access corridor was a trap. Every road was a potential minefield.
Yeah.
Every field of planted grain potentially sown with explosives or concealing weapon systems. Clanners had to worry that behind every blade of grass was a rifle barrel, a bayonet, a missile, a tank, an artillery piece, or a mech. Comstar had prepared the planet into an enormous killing field, and when the battle commenced,
yeah,
the
a whole bunch of people probably
like
died there, huh?
God. And how did the clan manage in the face of all this? Let me tell you a story. When Clan Smoke Jaguar hit the planet, they landed with 2 full galaxies of units. This is the equivalent of several brigades of power armor-wearing, nightmare-fuel-drinking, eugenics-born stormtroopers, psychotic mech pilots devoid of all human emotion but hate and pride, and the leadership needed to drive these tools into the heart of the enemy with zero hesitation. And Comstar completely ruined them by exploiting terrain, prepared defensive positions, and in one spectacular instance, getting them to advance through a seemingly undefended pass, only to spring an ambush and turn it into a shooting gallery. Comstar fighting Smoke Jaguar
I was waiting for them to drop the
like
floor out from under them or something.
versus third graders. When Smoke Jaguar gave up and left the planet with full material losses calculated in, they lost all but 22% of their equipment.
Oh yeah,
32%
holy cow,
of their total committed forces were killed outright. More were horrifically mangled and damaged beyond any use to the clan war machine. The Jaguars had kept fighting.
And because of how much they rely on their elite units, that's gotta be like a pretty big thing to the entire, the entire invasion force too.
One more attack, one more stand, one more battle, over and over and over again, because they believed they were on the verge of victory, and every time Comstar would hit them all the harder. Smoke Jaguar could not conceive of an enemy that could stand up to their might. Well, Comstar did, and succeeded. And
there you go, Comstar.
When Clan
You're making me actually respect Comstar a little bit, even though I was kind of dismissive of them at first.
Hover drop maneuver, showing off their elite skill before their enemies on the field of battle. Comstar decided enough was enough and ruined their air show. How? Comstar blitzed aerospace assets in, attacked and kamikazed the dropships.
Oh, jeez.
In an instant, Nova Cat lost Alpha Galaxy's command ship, and the rest were immediately grounded. In this confusion,
they really, what is it? SAFCON? They break SAFCON? Is that what it's called? Where they get to go down onto the planet
after the
so they can fight.
Easily managed to maintain air superiority over the drop zones and shot the living bejesus out of the clanners as they tried to forge a beachhead, leaving the Nova Cats in short supply with extreme difficulties in maintaining any effective communication, command, and control. As it turns out, it's hard to do any of the above while getting your ass handed to you by crazy people.
Yeah.
Guards then launched.
That's probably something you want to hammer out during the batch call, right? Like, they really should have bid better, right? That's what I'm thinking here.
Launched an all-out kamikaze attack while the Nova Cats were busy trying to capture Comstar Depot. Why? They were out of supplies. At a tremendous loss, Nova Cat was pushed off the planet. Why? Comstar threw everything they had at them while they had their backs turned. Of their invasion force, 3 Nova Cat stars survived. That's 50 mechs out of an invasion force.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot.
It was a near total wipe, and that's not the worst beating that was delivered. When Clan Diamond Shark landed, they had an army. When they left, it was gone. A memory, an entire invasion force relegated to the past tense. Later, when Steel Viper landed, they were goaded by Comstar into continuing their attack to such a point that they ran out of ammunition, until they ran into 321st.
Wow, yeah, so they were just not prepared for the way that the Inner Sphere or the Com Guards were going to fight there, huh?
Steel Viper lost so
they were going in there thinking they're gonna just fight a couple mechs and win.
It went. Every time a clan or commander tried to back down, a Comstar commander would issue a challenge to get them to do stupid things. Then Comstar would be waiting there with enough forces to jump on them like amphetamine-soaked circus monkeys. The clanners were unprepared for a war like this. This was not a war they had ever fought before. And thanks to Comstar's success, it was not a war they would ever fight again.
Yeah, right.
Comstar didn't falter. They knew the cost of this. They bulldozed the corpses of their fallen comrades out of the way and kept attacking. When a clanner unit was spotted, something was flying at it. Artillery, rockets, missiles, aerospace assets, VTOLs, tanks, infantry, whatever was at hand was put on that problem until it stopped. Comstar ground its own forces down on the clans, knowing that no matter how fancy their crap was, you could still die if you tried hard enough. And in the end, the clans lost. Only Clan Wolf managed to achieve its stated objectives. Ghost Bear and Jade Falcon took a draw. Every single other
Clan Wolf, Falcon,
lost.
and Ghost Bear. Okay.
And not just lost.
I'm partial to the Falcons so far.
All but name.
That's basically just off of what little I know.
By guess, it's roughly estimated that clanners lost 40% of their committed fighting forces, and many more were horribly damaged. This would be bad enough for any army, considering that it would take them out of the fight for years even if their resupply and supporting logistics were on the front lines with them.
Oh yeah, they do have
weren't.
the insanely large...
They were all the way back in clanner space.
Little
but this is one step
baggage
worse.
train. I forgot what it was called.
File. This is the best they fucking had. They had brought out their very best with their most promising commanders, only to be utterly annihilated. They lost more than they could ever hope to replace in such a short time. They lost irreplaceable weapons, manpower, entire generations of their finest, to include 2 Khans on the field of battle. The Green Com Guards managed to grind the clan war machine to a damn halt by throwing their bodies into the fray and fighting until they died screaming. Every time a Com Guard was gunned down, another stepped up to take their place. Mech after mech, tank after tank, infantryman after infantryman. From PPC to bayonet, Comstar fought them and died for every inch of soil. Needless to say, Comstar's losses were beyond count.
Yeah, right.
It turns out if you fight a war like Zukov,
that's gotta be
going to lose a few people.
A little bit. Just trading men for time.
It rocked them. It upset their way of everything. It changed their culture. Some clans changed the way they viewed the Inner Sphere and became wardens instead of crusaders.
Hey, there you go.
Some clans had lost their entire command and control on the fields of battle. Some lost all of their functional equipment in the invasion corridor, removing them as a power for years to come. Some had lost every great warrior and every promising warrior for a generation.
Oh yeah, and with the clans, they're like the genetic lines that they kind of have to pass by. So that could actually like just inhibit the skill, I guess, of their genetically engineered warriors, huh? Though I'm not sure if they keep like samples or how they do their genetic engineering. I'm not very knowledgeable on that portion of the clans at the moment.
Clans like Steel Viper would make themselves feel better by deciding to crusade against the Jade Falcons and, well, sorting things out through hurt feelings.
So they're gonna fight each other. That actually, so yeah, they stopped them there and then let them fight each other.
Place as their warrior caste more or less disappeared overnight, only to be replaced by a very forward-thinking, friendly, and diplomatic merchant caste.
Hey, there you go.
Some clans would look at the Inner Sphere in silent awe, wondering why this had happened in the first place. They were confused. What had they gained? Why did they fight this way? Their opponent had invited them to fight.
They gained a lot.
And it was a fight they foolishly underbid and lost because their honor demanded it. It was a fight they lost because honor was more important than strategic vision. And sadly, it was a battle they lost to a glorified, self-important, fanatical telecommunications company.
That always gets me.
This victory was everything.
That always gets me.
Mostly.
They look so 80s. Like, I know it's Battletech, so that's like around the time where it was starting or something. But that picture where they're just like, they're like wizards or something. It just looks so funny.
Gave a sense of unity.
And they're a telecommunications company, and they just went crazy on the clans.
In record time. However, on the technical side, the scrap and salvage recovered would bolster engineering, research, and design efforts in the inner sphere for years to come.
Oh, really? Were they, because I know the comm guards, because I know Comstar kind of wanted to keep the inner sphere technology fairly limited. So did they actually like share that salvage with the rest of the inner sphere, or was that mostly kept to themselves? Oh, and
now, the opinion
some
of an
opinions.
asshole. Why the clan lost wasn't purely for honor's sake, though. That played a part.
Obviously.
A crap culture plus a crap value system equals crap battle theory. However, the clanners weren't only undone
Just
by their
very
cultural
overconfident.
ideology. They were undone by an asshole exploiting it. Remember Vogt? Anastasia's Vogt? The bureaucrat general playing war? Turns out he wasn't a bureaucrat. And truth be told, that wasn't even his real name.
Oh, wow, okay.
He was born Frederick Steiner. He was at one point the scion of House Steiner. He was a hero and a mad bastard. He was an accomplished leader and commander of
the Lyran Commonwealth,
not without a dark side. His dangerous path through life led him to take a new name and become reborn as Anastasia's Vogt after burning his bridges as a Steiner royal.
Oh yeah, he 100% looks Targaryen, doesn't he?
With his new name came new duties.
Who does he remind me of? The tree from the Targaryen who was practicing magic and ended up becoming the tree in the north, I think. Ooh, I'm gonna need to get his name. Bloodraven? Was it Bloodraven? It might have been Bloodraven. He totally looks like Bloodraven. It reminds me of him too a little bit.
He became a defender of the inner sphere, a commander of men again. He was a phenomenal military mind before his rebirth, and was at core a soldier and little else.
They both had like the rebirth kind of
present intelligence operations. He was.
I wonder if he uses any magic. No, there's no magic in the inner sphere. They retcon that all away apparently.
To win at Tukayyid. He knew that to defeat an enemy you had to overpower them, outsmart them, and in the end crush them. He was so driven to flatly destroy enemies that all of his opponents throughout his life considered him to be completely incapable of subtlety. He was more than ready to throw bodies at a problem until the problem went away. He knew the enemy could not replace losses too easily, and clearly saw the means to cripple the clan war machine. As a man, he hated politics, he hated social courtesy, he hated protocol, he hated honor and bowing. He only liked
very
war.
Not I can totally see why he kind of dipped out of the Lyran Commonwealth then, because he seems pretty anti everything that the Lyran Commonwealth's about. So might be why he was a disgraced royal.
The worst mistake possible you can make when looking at an opponent. They dismissed him as a joke and failed to respect him, and for that he fucking broke them.
He was also probably part of the deception too, of how they underbidded.
Wars are not won on the field of combat. Battles are. But those are only ever part of the story. To win a war, you need to break the enemy's resolve, to force him to accept defeat. Otherwise, the war will never end. Too many conflicts persist because battles are won, but the hearts and minds of the people are not. Winning involves every level of society. From the generals and the politicians to the shopgirls and the street cleaners. The infantryman with his rifle may be the blunt weapon used to win this fight, but he is neither the instigator nor the concluder. TLDR, the clans brought their best. And Space AT&T said, "Get bent, weirdo."
Yeah,
next time, though,
just get
we'll
bent.
Get back to what I promised. A space story.
Oh, space story.
Catch fuck off with the laser pointer.
It's a laser sight. These future guns kick ass.
I don't care. You could put someone's eye out.
Okay, fine.
No, I wonder what the next one is. I actually don't know at the moment.
That's not a safety. The more you know.
God damn it, Catch.
The more you know. Special thanks. Yeah, that was great. Oh, I think I don't know if I'm allowed to put this music in there because I heard the YouTube AI does not like this music, or it might have been a different music. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see if there's any Discount Dan. I always love myself some Discount Dan. But I'll probably end up watching the credits on my own, and then I'll get back to you with my final thoughts. Tex is just a voice that likes whiskey. What's your guys' whiskey of choice? I know mine is Jameson currently. That is pretty much just what I drink. I prefer whiskey just because it goes down. It goes down okay, but it also gets you really quickly. So I prefer to get it over with quickly. I'm not a big sipper of drinks. I prefer shots. Definitely prefer shots. Ooh, I'm just back looking at this. So the Battle of Tukayyid, it was a amazing battle. How I went into this thinking. So how I went into this thinking was this battle was more along the lines of something like the Inner Sphere coming together. But that was not the case for this. This was a just more of an example of the clans getting their nose bloodied by Space AT&T and bidding horribly. So they just got like completely taken advantage of from basically all sides. On the side of the defenses they were up against more than they thought they were going to be up against, because they were not very smart in their battlefield intelligence gathering, I would say. And they underestimated their opponents, obviously, like they underestimated the entire Inner Sphere. But they underestimated Comstar specifically. And honestly, I don't blame them as much for that, because I also underestimated Comstar a whole bunch, in that I kind of saw them as more of a kind of like joke religious force. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to put it, but what I saw them as is more of a like attachment to a basically telephone company. The comm guards as and I saw basically the comm guards as an attachment to a telephone company, and not the military force that they apparently really were when they got down to the brass tacks of it. So very impressive. I definitely have a lot more respect for them now with how they fought and everything, and kind of gave the middle finger to the clans there and showed them that their way of warfare wasn't going to work like that in the Inner Sphere. Is that like a little, oh wow, I'm just seeing that over there in the corner, the little elemental like picking up a guy. I think that's an elemental. Dang. Yeah, I'm like, I love these arts, and I love Tex's videos as a whole. I'm glad I got to watch this, because just the art, the sound, obviously Tex's voice is incredible. His what was it, the whiskey soaked voice of Tex over there? It was great explaining it, and the entire Black Panther Legion. Thank you to them for making this video possible, and thank you to all of you for watching me react to this, because it's been a blast with the Battletech community, and I hope to continue more of it into the future with whatever's next in this whatever's next in the Tech Talk series. I'm doing it in chronological order from that one playlist that's available that I found. And I'm probably going to be branching out a little bit into more stuff now that I've finally hit this video. So I was thinking maybe doing some on elementals. If anybody has a good elemental video, let me know. I know there was one by Science Insanity, so I was thinking of watching that one. And then I still got to do my watch along from the Phoenix Hawk video, because I think I'm going to like the Phoenix Hawk. But I've also been recommended a whole bunch of other mechs that all look crazy. So there's so many things that I want to check out. Not enough time in the day at the moment. But one more time, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and adios.